Today, on Different Facets of Happiness, I'm joined by Dr. Deb Butler, master weight loss and life coach, former chiropractor and nutritionist, and host of Thinner Peace in Menopause and Beyond. After decades of dieting, she discovered a new way to break free from diet culture and reconnect with true hunger, emotions, and self trust. Let's dive into her powerful approach to food, mindfulness, and lasting transformation. Dr. Deb Butler, up next. So, Dr. Deb, you spent over 30 years as a chiropractor, a nutritionist, and an acupuncturist. What was the moment when you realized that your own relationship with food needed a completely different approach?
Well, that's a really good question because there was for a very long period of time that I didn't think I needed any different approach. I thought I was doing just fine gaining and losing 20 and 30 pounds every year. As, as long as I could take it off, that's all I was really worried about, even though I knew a lot about food and I knew a
Yeah.
lot about the body. When it came to me and my body, I had a different philosophy.
Please you share. What was that about?
Well, it was really about being thin, and I thought that in my mind, and that's why I ended up working with the mind so much. In my mind, I thought as long as I could take the weight off anytime I felt like it, I had it under control.
Yeah.
And I used Weight Watchers as the way of bringing that weight down. So I felt like I was using a healthy way of losing weight. And nothing against Weight Watchers, I think it is.
Yes.
But for me, I guess what the problem was is that I didn't have a way of eating all the time.
Hmm.
My eating changed according to how much I weighed. So I could be eating I know what's good for you, but usually if my weight was low and good, you wouldn't find me eating the most nutritious fuel eating foods that I could find.
That's when
I
you're
would be
taking advantage of, your.
I would be taking advantage of being thin, and it's because I mean, I would there's so many reasons for all of that that probably so many people can relate to, but I think when I hit my 50s and I went to Weight Watchers and the weight was not coming off like it always did, that's when I got really, really frustrated that what is going on here? And of course, what was going on there is that I was hitting menopause, my body was changing, I wasn't sleeping. There was always all kinds of things that were going on, but also that I really wasn't feeling as happy in my job as I had been, and
Mhm.
so there was a lot of discontent going on at the same time during this transition of, I can't get my weight off. I'm not really happy in this job." And what occurred is I thought all I needed to do was go out and have an extra dinner and a little extra drink, and I would feel a lot better.
I can understand.
And it was really through the discontent. Not just about my weight, but about the way that I was living my life in terms of the job that I was doing that made me look for something different that would appeal more to my heart. And I was always into working with the mind and all of the patients that I worked with. I'm not going to say I didn't love chiropractic or I didn't love helping people because I did, but I didn't want to work on people's bodies anymore. I just wanted to sit down and talk with people and find out what was getting in the way of them achieving the kind of health that they were looking for. I don't care if it was getting rid of their back pain, losing 10 pounds, getting rid of allergies, whatever it was. I could tell them what to do, just like I could tell myself what to do, but what was in the way of them doing what they needed to do, and that was the exploration that I took up next that led me into becoming a life coach or what I call a mind coach, and using weight as a way of getting into people's minds because that's what was in my way. And I met a weight coach, which I'd never heard of before at the
Yeah.
time. This was what, like 15 years ago. And her big question was, Why do you eat when you're not hungry? It's like, you would think that's not a very difficult question to answer, and it's not like lightning. And yet for me, it was like, "What? And who cares?" I just wanna figure out how to get this weight off, and if you're a weight coach, why don't you just tell me that? Who cares why I eat? But when I got right down to it with myself, that question changed everything for me in terms of changing my job, changing the way I looked at my weight, changing the way that I looked at food, and actually made me do what I always talked about when it came to nutrition.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about how this diet culture that
Yeah.
conditions women, especially in midlife, to
Yeah.
distrust their own bodies.
Yeah.
How do we overcome that?
Well, first of all, you have to realize that you have that problem. Because I don't think somebody could have told me, "Oh, I don't think you trust your body." I don't even think I would have thought they were crazy. Of course I can trust my body. I know everything about it. I can trust it. So if you're like I was, first of all, you have to realize that you don't, that you're using something else to help you, which for me was an external diet that
Mhm.
would tell me what to eat, when to eat, and how to eat. So my trust was in an external diet on what to do with my body. And that's what I did for my first 50 years is trusted something outside of me because I thought that knew something better than I personally knew. I thought I was trusting myself by picking Weight Watchers.
Yeah. And again, nothing wrong with Weight Watchers. We're not talking about
Nothing wrong with Weight Watchers at all. It's just that I learned so much from Weight Watchers once I got connected to my own body. There were so many things I learned that I could use, but I was going by my body and not by a point system.
right. So that meant that, again, I know you said that you weren't eating when you were hungry, but you were learning how to listen to your body, right? And take the clues to make sure that you were being, I guess, nutritionally savvy as well.
First, I learned to just listen to when am I hungry and when am I full? That's really how it started. It's like, do you know when you're hungry and do you know when you're full? And I want to say something that all the people that I've worked with and all the women that I worked with over these 15 years, that's why they want to hire me because that's what they want to learn. And I thought it seems so simplistic. And yet, if you've been depending on something external outside of you to tell you what to do, you have not paid attention to those 2 simple aspects of your body, which is one of the easiest and best ways to be connected. Do you know
Well,
when you're hungry? Do you know when you're full?
well, I would presume that most people would know when they're hungry and when, they're very,
Good.
their stomach growls, right? Or if they're full, they know that maybe they've overeaten. I would think that those are the two biggest signs, no?
Well, when I look at hunger and fullness now, it's like, what do you call hungry and what do you call full in your own mind? So, for instance, for me, like I used to think that the only way to be full, I have a hunger scale that goes from a -10 to a +10. So, a -10 is starving and a +10 is stuffed. So, it's kind of like a graph that you use in your head. So, it's not just like hungry is one number. Hungry can be anything from a -10 to a 0. And I think the way that our bodies are wired, I made up some numbers saying that the time that your body is saying to eat is at a -2. Like there's a certain time where you need to start thinking about feeding your body. And it's so easy to ignore those signals. You could wait until you're in -7. Maybe I was the kind of person that I could wait a long time so I could eat a lot. That was like that's how I use Weight Watchers and the points is I wanted to get as hungry as I could so I could eat as much as those points would allow me to.
Yeah.
I wasn't going for what a +2 felt like, which is what I'm teaching now, which is the whisper of fullness. I was going for a +8 because I had to feel that full to feel satisfied and I'm not saying you can't control your weight like that because you can. It's
Hmm.
really strange, but it's no connection to your body. So it's like the difference of when you start identifying those numbers and you start realizing what your hunger and what your fullness is. So when, people say to me, well, I stopped because I was full. Well, how full were you? So understanding those 2 numbers and then getting connected to what those numbers feel like in your body is the beginning of learning how to trust your body, to know when to eat and to know when to stop. And then you can even play with those numbers once you've identified them.
Well, you created what you call the thinner peace process.
I sure did.
Can you talk about that? I believe I already know what inspired it now, but if you can just elaborate on that, please.
I think thinner meaning the inner, Thinner, the inner peace. And I've been thin many, many times. But I have never been at peace being thin because if I was thin, then I was eating out of control until I wasn't thin anymore. And I had no peace around food and I had no peace around my body. And thinner peace process means how to be connected to your body so that your body can be the weight that it needs to be and you feel peaceful about it. You feel like you can trust yourself with it. So that when whatever it is that you weigh that you got to, you know you can stay there. I would say that so many of the people I've worked with have been thin before, but once they're thin, they're afraid they're gonna get fat again
Yes, I would
because
imagine.
they don't trust that they can do what they were doing to get there, and most of the time, it's because they can't. We're picking things we can't really stick with because it's not really what we want to do. Like,
So,
I want to be able to eat potato I had a thing with potato chips. I'm just gonna use potato chips for an example.
yeah,
So, with potato chips, if I ate them, I felt like I had to eat the whole bag. I did not know how to eat a few of those. And if I didn't wanna eat the whole bag, I had to destroy them in some way so that I couldn't get to them. Now, you're talking to an educated woman. Right? And
yes.
this is what I did, and now that I've been doing this for a while, I know that I'm not alone on this. And when I talk about the thinner peace process, this is what I'm talking about, is that you can eat potato chips, you can stop eating potato chips, you can enjoy potato chips, and you can put them away, and your body can be at the weight that it needs to be.
So then why does this work when nothing else has?
For me,
For you,
because
yeah,
yeah,
and for many other people who tried this process.
I think it's because, number 1, I don't tell you what to eat. I already lived that for 30 years, telling people what to eat and how to do it, and lived on a diet knowing that. And I work on the concept of first teaching hunger and fullness so that you know when you're eating when you're hungry and you know that you're stopping when you're full, and you also know when you're not,
Yeah.
when you're truly not. And when you're truly not, there's something else going on, and that's what I call emotional hunger. And emotional hunger is another whole huge topic to talk about. But first, you have to understand physical hunger first in your own body. It's the first connection. And when you hit menopause, if you've gotten all the way to your 50s, not being connected to your body, not knowing your own signals of hunger and fullness, you're probably disconnected from a lot of other things too. Because these are your basics. This is how you're wired. And if you're constantly going against it, so many women, I call them pushers. I'm also one of them. I push through things.
Yes.
I think I can do much more than I can do, but I make myself do it anyway because I don't know, I'm not in the emergency room, so I guess I can do it, you know? Or people who work until they drop, or people who never call in sick. And I go, "Well, when would you call in sick?" "Well, I guess if I was in the emergency room." It's kind of like you think of the hunger
Yes.
scale from a -10 to a +10. You can use that for sleep, for how much pain your body is in, for how sick or how well you are. And how many of us listen to those whispers as opposed to the screaming?
Yes.
The screaming of pain means, "Oh my god, I can't do anything." You don't need to
Like,
have pain screaming not to do something. Your body is talking to you way before you ever get to that. Are you listening?
well,
No. The answer is
that
no.
well, that brings me to my next question because this is
Okay.
important. Because you often say like you're just talking about right now, slowing down, listening to your body. That's actually a power move. Why is stillness a superpower when it comes to food? Is it because, from my perspective, and that's a challenge that I'm working through as well, it's the stillness, it's the mindfulness, being mindful of what I am doing, have that self awareness. I am starting to notice that now I'm paying more attention than ever before. That's important
Mm,
to me, that self
mm.
awareness. And what you just said a while ago, we're always taking on. We don't know when to stop until we're in the hospital room. Again, mindfulness and awareness.
Yes, 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 yes. So, mindfulness is so when I first started using it in meditation, it wasn't such a overused word. And yet, really, when you are aware of what's going on within you, one of the only ways to know that is by being more still. It's You got to stop for a minute and go, instead of, hey, what's going on out there? It's like, hey, what's going on in there? And one of the best ways to know what's going on in here is by what's going on with you when you start to put something into your mouth. See,
Yes.
because you have to eat more than you have to do anything else.
I was going to say, then before opening the fridge, what's the one question we should ask ourselves other than, why am I here again?
I think the best question to ask yourself is, am I hungry?
Because it's habitual. If you
Not
open
why am I
the fridge,
here, but
yes.
am I hungry? I mean, it's as simple. And, I talk a lot about self compassion when we talk about awareness, when we start seeing what's going on for ourselves. So, when you see yourself going into the refrigerator for the hundredth time, how kind and compassionate you are when you see that will also depend on what your answer is to yourself.
Yes. Very, very true. But when someone goes into the fridge, right?
Yeah.
Most of us, are not counting points. You're not tracking on the apps.
Let's hope not. I would hope not.
Right. And so can someone really lose weight without doing that?
Well, you probably know what my answer is going to be, but yes. And you know what is so funny is like, so in the more olden days of Weight Watchers, we used to carry I had a lifetime card.
Yeah.
And the reason I was a lifetime Weight Watcher member is because I'd gotten the weight off. And as long as my weight was a certain number, I could always go back for free. And if it was over, then I had to pay. But this card I kept in my purse like it was a security card. And when I started working on am I hungry, am I full, starting with that, I did not and stop going to Weight Watchers. I kept that card in my purse for at least an extra 12 months
Mm.
as a security in case, just in case. That's how scared I was.
Yeah.
And that's how scared most of us are when it comes to our weights, losing weight, gaining weight. There is so much fear surrounding this whole topic. And what is so freeing when I talk about it now, because it's been a while since I threw that card away,
Yeah.
that it's much easier just to check in with yourself and be able to have enough compassion for yourself that you can get an answer, because a lot of us eat when we're not hungry. A
It's
lot of us do that, and we do it because we're trying to help ourselves handle something we don't know how to handle.
Yeah. And, this brings me to the shame question because
Oh, please.
uh,
Yes.
a lot
Oh, yes.
yes, a lot of listeners listening now, they feel ashamed of overeating or secret eating. They have their secret stash. I don't, but they have their secret stash. So,
Yeah.
do you want them to know right now?
What I want them to know that, first of all, shame likes to be hidden, and it's likes to be kept a secret. So if you know, or if you feel that when we're talking right now, you have that feeling, the best thing that you could do for yourself is number one, be able to say to yourself and to someone else what's going on. Just get it out into the open. And shame is all about like, how do you, not how someone else can, but how can you, with self compassion, handle your shame once you realize that's what's going on for you? Because most people do not realize they're feeling that until it's talked about.
Yeah.
I mean, any more than I could tell what was going on with me when I wasn't really wanting to look at it. But it's like you start talking to yourself like you would your most beloved, like, "Sweetheart, it's okay." Like, the first thing I would say to anybody that's listening right now that might be recognizing some of this inside of them is for you to talk to yourself, "Sweetheart, it's okay. You're one of thousands of people who have learned this behavior, learned it because it's been taught to you without you even knowing it. And if that doesn't deserve compassion from you didn't do it on everything you're doing. I don't care if you're eating in the closet. You're doing it because you're trying to help yourself do something.
Yeah.
You are trying to help yourself.
Right.
And you need to recognize that that's what you're doing. You're not trying to hurt yourself. You're
Right.
trying to help yourself.
Exactly.
And it's okay. It's okay, sweetheart. It's okay.
But Dr. Deb, if a woman feels
Yeah.
that she's tried everything,
And that's most people I work with. Yep.
yeah, what makes your approach feel that this is the last time she, or maybe he, will ever have to try to lose weight again?
I think that why it's so successful is because I can teach people how to trust themselves the way they trust themselves around other things. To be able to trust themselves on the inside, starting with, am I hungry and am I full? And knowing those answers and knowing that. And it's not just about how much weight you can lose. It's about, can I get reconnected to my body and can I stay connected to my body? And I think, like, when I work with people, I would say come and go is the way I look at it. It's like, okay, I'm really good. I'm listening to my body and I feel really connected. And then something happens
Yeah.
and there's this what we call disconnection where food, once again, becomes what I call a whole filler, an emotional whole filler. Now, if you've been doing this as long as I have for 20 or 30 years, your brain's more equipped to take you there. It's just more, it's trained to do it. So if the emotion's too big, your brain's probably going to go back to what it's done. And when you can learn to what I call come back, and I teach it as a comeback tool, that when you can learn to come back after you've left without shame, but with recognizing what happened, that is the superpower of what I do. It's not that you never do it again. It's not that I didn't ever eat a whole bag of potato chips again,
Right.
ever.
Of course.
But it's just that when I did, it was with a totally different awareness and it wasn't accompanied by shame.
Yeah.
It wasn't accompanied by meanness and anger. It was accompanied by compassion and, "Oh, I wonder what's going on,"
Yeah.
kind of a thing.
Yes.
So, it becomes less about the food and much more about what the heck has been going on in your mind, and how can you become more aware of what is going on in your mind by what you put in your mouth. So, I guess the success is you don't just change your body. You change your mind in the second half of your life for you to be more of the way you always were meant to be. It's connecting inside. You're connecting to you. You're connecting to your emotions. If you're not eating all the time, you've got more emotions to look at.
Yes.
The only reason I'm a life coach is because I stopped eating and drinking all the time so I could go do that. I had to be a little miserable. I had to be a little
There.
uncomfortable.
Yes,
I had
yes,
to stop eating and drinking so I could go, "This is a really uncomfortable place. I don't really like doing this anymore."
yes, I know. So, my final question to you, Dr. Deb,
Yeah,
of course, in addition to trusting yourself, if you could give every woman over 40 one belief that would change her life forever, what would it be?
I can eat whatever I want, but what do I really want? I really believe that the thought that I want everyone to leave with when they're working with me is they know they can eat whatever they want. There are no foods that are off limits. I know I can eat potato chips whenever I want, but I don't feel like eating potato chips all day long. Now, when I thought I couldn't eat potato chips and I couldn't control myself around potato chips, whenever I saw a potato chip, I wanted to eat it. And
Yeah.
I thought if only I was thin, then I could do it.
And that changed for you, it changed everything.
I think it changes everything for anybody when they actually believe that thought. As soon as somebody says, I can't have that, I can't eat that, they're going to want it.
Of course.
And when you know you can have it, and then you start really looking at, but do I really want it?
Yes.
Do I really want what it's really gonna do for like, if I eat a whole bag of potato chips, do I really want that? Do I really want what the effect of all of that? Now, I'm not saying you just do that in one day. That is the thinner piece process. But I'm saying that it's the most freeing thought you can ever have when you've been dieting your whole life.
Yes. It's a transformation and no more dieting.
No more dieting.
Yes. Well, Dr. Deb, thank you very much. I'm hoping that what you said has resonated with everyone listening today. So, again, thank you so much for joining.
Oh, thank you. It was a pleasure. So much fun.
Yes, thank you. What a refreshing conversation with Dr. Deb Butler. If you want to explore her work further, please check out her Thinner Peace podcast and her free food quiz. Also, please share this episode with anyone who you feel would resonate. And I truly appreciate your liking and subscribing. Until next time, stay grounded and stay joyful. I'm Jackie Denise. Thank you so much for listening.